Mr. Mayor, it is now 4 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I call to order the virtual regular council meeting dated Tuesday, August 24th, 2021 at approximately 4 p.m. Would you do a roll call, please, Mr. Clerk?
Roll call. The Honorable William Bill Edwards, Mayor.
Here.
The Honorable Catherine F. Ryle, District 1.
Present.
The Honorable Carmelita Gums, District 2.
Present.
The Honorable Helen Z. Willis, District 3. The Honorable Naima Gilliard, District 4. And I would like to announce that Councilmember Gilliard will not be able to be present this evening due to a personal matter. The Honorable Corey A. Reeves, District 5.
Accounted for.
The Honorable Councilmember Khalid, District 6. The Honorable Mark Baker, District 7. The Honorable Helen Willis, District 3. Are you present? But Mr. Mayor, you do have a quorum.
Okay.
Councilman Mark is here.
Okay, got you, Mr. Baker. Chapman present.
Yes, I am, Mayor.
Before you get started, would you please at this time also recognize the loss of Jack London, former mayor of College Park.
Mr. Mayor, there was a noise came in. Could you repeat that, please?
Let us make sure we acknowledge, I know you will, the death of the former mayor of College Park, Jack Longino.
Yes, sir. Let us pray. Oh God, how grateful we are for life and the life that you've given each and every one of us, our leadership, mayor and council, to lead and to guide as your servants. Oh God, we all are called, and Longino was called and has done a great job, but now he rests from his labors here and continue to rejoice in heaven. As we continue to labor here on this side, oh God, we ask that you continue to purpose us, continue to bless us as we continue to lead our city. Bless us all. This we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I share with the chaplain the condolences and the well wishes to the Longino family.
Yes, sir.
With the annals of this region are read, the Longino name will be read with it. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge that. Thank you so much, Mr. Chaplain. Mr. Clerk, next item, please.
Yeah, next item is item Roman numeral 5, the adoption of council agenda.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adopt. I make a motion to adopt the council agenda as presented.
No. Mr. Mayor, hold on. I want to pull an item, a couple of items.
Oh,
Consent agenda.
I rescind.
And Mayor, I would like to acknowledge my presence. I could not get my speaker to work.
Okay, we got you.
Thank you.
Said items that I would like to move from the consent agenda is item under 18.5, subnumber 5, and that is for the South Fulton Commerce Building for purposes of discussion.
Wait, what number is that? What number is that, Councilman?
Under 18, as with the plats.
I think it's item 17, number 5.
17.
17, number 5, the South Fulton Commerce Center for purpose of discussion, and 17, number 4, for purpose of reconsideration for a technicality and correction.
Okay. Any further removals?
Second.
Ms. Gums, you can do your motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Properly moved by Ms. Gums, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Willis. Let's vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao. Councilmember Rao, Councilmember Gomes,
Yes.
Councilmember Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid, Councilmember Khalid.
Yes, for Councilwoman Rao.
Okay. Okay, Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved.
Okay, next item, please, Mr. Clerk.
The next item is Roman numeral 6. This is approval of city council meeting minutes. And Mr. Mayor and Council, I would like to pull item number 6. I hadn't had a chance to get that to you for your review. So before you is items 1 through 5.
I move that we approve council meeting minutes for July 27th, 21, for August 10th, 2021, council work session. Also for August 10th, 2021, council zone and public hearing. Also for August 10th, 2021, special call meeting minutes, August 10th. And lastly, for August 11th, 2021, city council millage rate public hearing minutes.
So moved.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gomes,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid, Councilmember Khalid, Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Those items are approved.
Yes, I'm hearing some feedback from somebody. Please check and make sure that you're muted if you're not in the conversation. Mr. Clerk, go ahead. Next item.
Next item is public comments. Mr. Mayor and Council, we did receive 9 public comment forms. We did receive several individual citizens who wish to speak live. So I will call your name. And when you hear your name, please unmute yourself, state your name, your address, and your district, and you will be allowed 2 minutes. The first speaker is Shelby High. Shelby High. Ms. High, can you unmute yourself? You have 2 minutes.
Unmuted, I'm here.
Go right ahead, Ms. High.
You have 2 minutes to make your statement.
Okay, are you unmuted?
2 minutes.
Because they said it'll be read into the record. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You have 2 minutes, Ms. High, to make your remarks. Can you hear me?
Ms. High, if you don't want to
I
make a
can't hear
statement,
what
I
you're
can.
saying.
If you don't want to make a statement, I can read your comments.
Would you read it and then I have some additional?
Okay, well, you only allowed
Okay, would you read it in for me? I can't.
Okay, you're allowed 2 minutes. I'll go ahead and start for you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, sir.
Okay, this is from Shelby High, who lives in Red Oak, District 3. Her statement is, there's a huge hole on Delano Road in an almost blind curb. It has been reported to the city of South Fulton over 10 times. I personally have seen the school bus loaded with children almost get hit 4 times last week. Why are the lives of the school-age children being put at risk by the city and the county? I thought y'all said, pretend it's all about the children. Thank you, Ms. High. The next speaker is Ms. Marquetta Price. Ms. Price, are you on the line?
I am. Good afternoon.
Okay, you have 2 minutes. Please state your name, address, and district, please.
Okay. My name is Marquita Price. I live in the Stable Chase subdivision at 3541 Devon Chase Road. I do not know who my district person is, as I'm still fairly new over here. I submitted 2 submissions, but I want to start with the first one real quick because I think that's more important. And that one is, why is the time scheduled for these meetings at 4 o'clock when most of your constituents are either still at work or en route home from work? We would like to have more participation, and I'm sure maybe you've tried some things in the past, but there's a lot of buzz if you're on the Nextdoor app, where citizens are very concerned about the eroding conditions of our area. So I think at this point, you would definitely have a better participation, but having these meetings at 4 o'clock leaves little room for other constituents to participate. So should I address my second?
Yes, you have a minute left.
Thank you. So in addition to that, if you all have the other submission that I stated, it's pretty long, so I will not go through it. But I do invite you to go onto the Nextdoor app, look up my name, and you will see that exact post that I made into the Nextdoor app and the over 150 responses from concerned citizens with the same issues. And I don't think that can be unpacked in this meeting, but I do invite you to look at that and definitely reach out to me because I want to be a part of resolving those issues. My name is Marquita, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. The next speaker, Mr. Paul Lovelace. Are you on the line, Mr. Lovelace? Paul Lovelace? The next speaker, Othelia Hampton. It's Miss Othelia Hampton on the line.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Is this Paul Lovelace? Hello? Okay, I think they're having technical difficulties.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay.
You have
Okay.
You have 2
Fantastic.
minutes. Please state your name, your address, and your district, please.
My name is Paul Lovelace. I live at 4140 Jeffrey Drive. I'm in District 3. Okay, now I have a problem, a situation that I'm really concerned about, as probably other citizens are. There is a new proposed 120,000 square foot warehouse slated for Roosevelt Highway. Some of us have been contacted by the developers, and others of us have not. My question is, why is it left up to the developer to contact us and not our council member or our representatives? These things, I understand that there is an imaginary line that is supposed to be like a mile or 1,000 feet before people are contacted, but that does not include the impact of everything. Contact impact is different. That is one of my concerns about that. We need to be contacted by our representatives about these serious issues, because this is another 120,000 square foot proposed warehouse going up next to Fulton Bay Seafood. I accidentally found out about that and was not contacted. That is one of the other. That is one of my issues. Do I have time for a question to the mayor?
You have 30 seconds. Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a question for Mr. Mayor. We had a meeting with you on July the 12th, and you promised that you would help us protect Welcome All Road. So I want to know, have you had any response from the Next Era company as to how we're going to protect Welcome All Road, and were you able to convey to them our request that there be no entrance off of Welcome All Road to the Next Era site?
Yes, I did, and I would love to talk to you in more depth about it offline. I will just give you a call, Ms. Lovelace. We don't have enough.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lovelace.
Thank you.
Is Miss Othelia Hampton on the line? Otelia Hampton.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please state your
Hi.
name, address, and your district, and you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Otelia Hampton. I'm at 4125 Jeffrey Drive, 30349. I'm in District 3, and I have some of the same concerns as Paul Lovelace had about the warehouse that's proposed to go in on Roosevelt Highway. That is a concern, and why we in this district are not being notified, because we are more than 1,000 feet or 1 mile from whatever they're planning on putting in our area. Everything that's going in here impacts everybody that's along Roosevelt Highway, everybody that's along Welcome Road and Sunrise Trail. So we should be notified about things that's going into my area. The other thing is this next lithium storage facility that's going in that no one knew about. We went to the meeting, with College Park and next area, and they said they didn't have to notify anyone that was more than 1,000 feet. They said I was 1,600 feet from that facility. So therefore, the other people in Sunrise Trail subdivision, they didn't have to notify anyone. So we didn't know about this next era lithium project that was going on until right around the 4th of July at the end of June. And that just isn't right for the people that live in South Fulton County. That affects all of us. I don't know if you're hearing me. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
The other concern is that all along Roosevelt Highway, there is electronic recycling plants, all these wrecking yards. There's just so much garbage disposal plants next to the garbage disposal plant that's right on Welcome Road. That's another dump site. We have enough of that type of activity going on around our community. We need something else other than those things. We need hotels, we need apartments, we need other things besides things that are dumped in our community. That's my statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hampton.
Thank you. The next speaker, Mr. Edward Pinnock. Mr. Pinnock, are you on the line? Edward Pinnock.
Yes, I'm on the line.
Mr. Pinnock, please state your name, your address, your district, and you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Edward Pinnock. I live at 4145 Jeffrey Drive. I'm in District 3. Instead of being so specific, I'm going to give an overview, an assessment of where I think we are at this point in my concerns and the concerns of a lot of people who've already spoken. We're concerned that the city is considering and improving development without really adequate input from the citizens, those who are most impacted by it. We want sustainable development. And by sustainable development, I mean, we want development that sustains and enhances the community in a way that provides a healthy environment for the people in the neighborhood and in the city itself. I feel like the Highway 29 corridor is fast becoming a warehouse, service station, flea market, and thrift store designation for people all around the metro Atlanta and indeed all around the country. That's not sustainable development. We cannot be a neighborhood-friendly city if we continue the current trend of development, not to mention attract young people, which is essential to survivability of any city. We implore you as our representatives to be more considerate of the neighborhoods when you think about any kind of development. Warehouses are not sustainable development, and they do not enhance the community. We should not have to leave our community to enjoy amenities that should be within our community. And just because a person wants to bring a tax revenue here to the city, it makes no difference if there are no neighborhoods in the city. If people are moving out, we need to attract people and not force people out of the city. So please be considerate of us as our representatives. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker, Ms. Ruth Page Nelson. Are you on the line? Ms. Page Nelson.
Where are you, Ruth?
Okay, I don't think she is on, but I will read the remaining public comment cards. We had 5 speakers, 10 minutes, so that leaves 20 minutes for public comment. The next speaker, Lex High, who lives on Delano Road in District 3. He states, from your knowledge, is the rezoning proposal submitted by Republic Property Company to the city of South Fulton at all associated with Nextera Energy's proposed M1 battery storage rezoning in College Park? I ask because the parcels are peculiarly close and they are requesting very similar zoning changes. Will there be a more involved effort to inform surrounding residents about the Republic rezoning proposal to possibly build a 120,000 square foot warehouse on the 9-acre parcels at 4015 Roosevelt Highway near Fulton Bay Seafood? End of comment. Next comment is from Ms. Jewel Johnson, who lives on Orkney Lane in District 1. Under item number 19, what is the total amount of the JAT contract? What is the $65,000 for? How much does the interim finance contractor make? When will the open position for finance director be filled? End of comment. Next is from Jane Williams, who lives on Shenfield Lane in District 5. The Brentwood Place community is requesting speed humps to be installed from the beginning of Shenfield Lane to the top of Shenfield Drive. Speed humps will play an important role in the Brentwood Place community. In the past year, we have had 4 accidents in our community that related to speed and alcohol. At neither accident was anyone charged or arrested. These accidents barely miss running into homes. The Brentwood Place community is trying to counter this problem before it becomes worse. We have installed no parking signs, which has not worked and can be costly on a wide scale to enforce. While on the other hand, installing reflective speed humps will definitely impose drivers to slow down. Thank you. End of comment. And that completes the public comment for this meeting.
Mayor, may I please have a point of privilege for 2 minutes?
Just a minute. Let me just thank everybody for their comments today. We really appreciate them, and we should be getting back with you. Yes, Miss Mayor Tim, you can have 2 minutes. All
right, thank you. I want to thank residents for their engagement, and I also want residents to know the solar storage facility in the municipality of College Park. It is not in the city of South Fulton. So please continue to direct your concerns and your protests to the municipality of College Park, mayor and council. I stand in solidarity with you. However, when development is done in another municipality, no, they do not have to notify city of South Fulton residents or speak with us. It would be a neighborly thing to do. And of course, they did speak with us, and we told them the concerns of the residents, but it would go a great long way if you all direct your concerns in numbers to the mayor and council of city of College Park. They are the decision makers as it relates to the development, the solar plant development in their municipality. As far as the Republic warehouse, that information is posted in my newsletter that I sent out bi-weekly, community information notices. If you're not getting my newsletter, I will make sure you're added to my distribution list. And if you would like for me to have a meeting with your community to address your concerns, please feel free to let's make that happen. I will be happy to do a Zoom meeting with your community so that we can discuss the CDRA process, how you are notified about development, the mile radius that's required for you to be notified about development, and also our zoning. If we do not own the land and the land is zoned for a certain zoning, then there are certain things that we have to consider. Not anyone on this council is recruiting any developer to come into this city to bring a warehouse on Roosevelt Highway. So let's make that clear.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Your time is expired. Thank you, Ms. Rose.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for allowing us. Okay, Mr. Clerk, next item, please.
Next item is Roman numeral 8. This item 7. It's a public hearing. This is a 2021 millage rate ordinance. The interim finance director, Ms. Rachel Bembry.
Staff, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. I can hear.
Fantastic. Mr. Adams, is the presentation? Okay, perfect. All right. Well, good afternoon. As stated, it is my pleasure to provide the presentation for proceeding the third and final public hearing for the 2021 millage rate supporting the fiscal year 22 budget. Next slide, please. So as we have our previous comments, we will start with kind of a property tax 101 lesson, if you will. And we'll cover some of the basic principles. Next slide, please. All right, so the millage rate is the tax rate that is applied to the assessed value of property to calculate the property tax amount. It is typically stated as dollars per thousand. So for example, 5 mills is $5 per thousand of assessed value. We'll work through an example of this calculation later. Next slide, please. The market value is the estimated amount a property can be bought or sold in the market. The assessed value is 40% of that market value and is the basis for calculating the property tax amount. So for example, a home with $150,000 market value will have an assessed value of $60,000. And at 5 mills per thousand, we have a resulting property tax amount of $300. Next slide, please. There is also a rate known as a rollback rate. The rollback rate is the millage rate that would raise the same amount of taxes as last year based on this year's digest values. So in other words, the values of the properties in the city increased from the prior year. These are called revaluations or reassessments. For the property taxes levied by the city to produce the same amount of tax as though those properties did not increase, the millage rate would be 12.139. It's important to note that the property tax revenues associated with those revaluations is just under $2 million to the city's revenues. Next slide, please. So again, just to reiterate, the current recommendation to council is to maintain the millage rate of 12.899, and especially worth noting that this is not an increase in the millage rate from last year. Next slide, please. To further clarify, the 6.26% increase noted in the tax ads, this is somewhat of a hypothetical increase. So when comparing the 12.899 millage rate to the option of a rollback rate, the resulting increase or decrease, depending on how you look at it, is 6.26%. So this increase is the increase in property tax revenues the city will see due solely to the revaluations of real property. Again, the only taxpayers that will see an increase are taxpayers whose property values increase. So a $175,000 home in the 2021 digest is going to pay the same amount of taxes as that same $175,000 home did in the 2020 digest. So let's look at an example. Next slide, please. The $175,000 fair market value is used because it is the average of homestead properties in the city rounded to the nearest 25,000. The right side of your column shows the current property tax calculation. So you can see for that home value of $175,000 market value, with assessed value of $70,000, you apply the local exemption, resulting in a taxable value of $40,000. And at the millage rate proposed, 12.899, that results in $515.96 in taxes. If the city should choose to roll the millage rate back, that same homeowner's tax bill would be reduced by $30.40 per year. That's $2.53 per month. So this is a nominal relief to the average taxpayer, but a significant implications to the city's budget. Because if you remember, the impact to the city is about $2 million, and that represents about 2.6% of the city's revenue budget for fiscal year 22. Next slide, please. As a result of conversations through these first two public hearings, we have added this additional explanation for the reason behind our recommendation in developing an operating and capital budget for a municipality. This can be a very complex and layered task, and we prepare revenue projections and then personnel projections, as well as examining requests submitted from departments. It is a large balancing act between the desired service levels and the cost of those service levels. And some difficult decisions are made throughout that budget process to reduce expenditures and better balance the budget. However, due to the gap in revenue projections, primarily related to the loss of certain intergovernmental revenues from the county, the gap in the revenue projections and the expenditures for fiscal year 22 budget, based on that gap, we recommend maintaining the current millage rate. So that is the reasoning behind our recommendation of keeping that millage rate the same as last year at 12.899. So that does conclude my presentation. The next slide is just simply opening the floor for questions or comments, and I welcome those at this time.
I will open up the public hearing, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, we did receive one public comment, and this was sent after the last hearing, but before this hearing today. This comment is from Miss Edwina D. Dixon, who lives on Waterdale Road in District 2. Her comment is, I listened to the short presentation provided during the last meeting, but was not familiar with the process for submitting comment until now. I do have a question. As we all are aware, numerous new subdivisions and new homes have been built and sold in the city of South Fulton in the past year and even few months. In addition, the city was awarded the Fulton Industrial Boulevard section that we've been wanting, which will definitely increase our tax revenues. Were those homes and the commercial taxes from FIB included in the calculations for determining the millage rate? It seems that if the large amount of projected revenue were included, we could definitely achieve a rollback for the citizens, particularly those since the values have been increased. This would be most helpful to a large number of our population still suffering from the mental, physical, and financial ravages of COVID-19. Thank you in advance for your consideration and response. Edwina Dixon. End of comment.
All right, I'll close the public hearing. Ms. Bimmer, do you want to answer that? Or?
Yes, sir. I'm happy to answer that. I feel it's a pretty straightforward response. In summation, yes, we have considered these items in particular FIB on the implications of that on the property tax digest. But it is important to note that those properties will not be reflected in the city of South Fulton's digest until January 1 of 2022, which, as you're aware, will fall into our fiscal year 23 budget. So we will see those properties come on board in the next digest cycle, and that's just one of those timing differences. So we are anticipating, and those discussions were to reconsider the rollback at that time, and certainly we'll have more information on that digest implications in the next year's digest.
Okay.
Mayor.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
This is our last public hearing for the millage rate. Can I make a motion to go ahead and vote to keep the millage rate at 12.899?
I think that would be.
Miss,
Is that all right?
Mr. Mayor and Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
the actual ordinance for this item is on the agenda later in the agenda in the ordinance section. But you're more than willing to, move forward as you deem appropriate.
Just wait till we get there.
Okay, we want to wait till, yeah, that's fine. I'll wait. That's
All
fine.
All right, we closed the public hearing. Any more comments? Mr. Clerk, let's go forward.
Okay, there is no more comments. The next item is rezonings, variance, and modification cases for action. The first is Z20-008. Council to consider a rezoning from AG1 Agriculture to CUP Community Unit Plan for property located at 7195 Butner, 0 West Stubbs, and 3315 West Stubb Road. This is located in District 2, and this was deferred from the May 25th and July 27th council meetings.
I'll entertain a motion.
So, Mayor, thank you for recognizing. Well, you didn't recognize me, Mayor.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead, Ms. Goddard.
I would like to defer this case for an additional 30 days, which is Z20-008. But we can also, I'll do that one, and then I'll do the other two.
That's your motion?
That is my motion.
Second.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Second.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Let's vote, Mr. Clerk.
Roll call vote to defer for 30 days. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That motion was approved to defer.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, next item, please.
Next item is item 9, Z20-009. This is council to consider a rezoning request for AG1 to S8 Senior Housing for property located at 7195 Butner, 0 West Stubbs, and 3315 West Stubbs Road. It's located in District 2, and this item was deferred on May 25th and July 27th.
I'll entertain a motion, Ms. Gums.
City Clerk, I would like to have item Z20-009 and CV20-001 heard together. The developer has actually put in withdrawal, and I would like to go ahead and approve that withdrawal.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, would you also read into the record the 20-001?
Yes, the CV20-001 is council to consider a concurrent variance on the senior age requirement from 62 to 55. And this is a companion legislation for Z20-009 located in District 2.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, Ms. Gums.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the approval for the withdrawal for Z20-009 and CV20-001.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? Hearing
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Rao.
Is this, I think the number for that is for the Old National. Is that correct? The Z21-009 is for 74450 National.
No,
No, ma'am.
they got it here as but.
Right. I just wanted that to be corrected.
Okay, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Adams, do you see what she's talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the one from Old National is Z21-009, and
Okay.
this one is Z20-009.
It's close.
Correct.
Yeah. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please, Mr. Clerk.
It's the motion to accept the withdrawal. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
and Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
The withdrawal was approved.
All right, next item, please.
Yes, next item is item 11, Z21-002. Council to consider a rezoning at 0 Campbell Drive for the purpose of constructing a warehouse. It's located in District 3.
I'll entertain a motion, Ms. Willis.
Yes, the petitioner reached out to me and they wish to withdraw. Am I correct, Mr. Nathan?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
Okay, so I move that we approve the withdrawal for the zoning case.
So move.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote to accept the withdrawal. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid. You're muted, but I hear you saying yes. Okay, thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item to accept the withdrawal is approved.
Okay, next item, please.
Next item is item 12, Z21-003. Council to consider a rezoning at 4295 Roosevelt Highway for the purpose of constructing an office and zoning consolidation. It's located in District 3 and was deferred on July 27th.
I'll accept the motion, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, I move that we approve this request, Z21-003. And I have a condition I want to add.
My budget hearing and somebody made a motion to adopt the millage rate.
Rachel, okay, go ahead.
I have a condition I want to add to this. I want to add the condition that if the land is conveyed, that we do not allow a warehouse development. So that's my motion.
So move with the condition.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Let me ask you this. Did you say for purpose of a warehouse?
No, what I said is that if forever I want to approve this request, but if the land is ever sold or conveyed, that we prohibit a warehouse development.
Okay. All right, Dr. Rao, were you about to say something?
Yes, I just want to clarify, this is for the senior housing community, correct? No?
What was stated is that this is for an office building on Roosevelt Highway.
Gotcha. Okay, I just want to clarify.
Are any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Khalid, go right ahead.
I just wanted to confer with our attorney if that is the proper motion.
Councilman Khalid, Mayor Pro Tem can make a motion to add that condition at this stage.
Okay.
It's just a condition of zoning. Okay. Let's vote, please, Mr. Clerk.
The motion to approve with the amendment that if this property is sold or conveyed, that no warehouse be developed on the property. Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid.
Yes.
And Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item was approved.
Next item, please.
Next item is item 13, Z21-004 and CV21-005. Council to consider a rezoning and concurrent variance at 0 Yates Road for the purpose of building a mixed-use apartment complex, District 3, and it was deferred on July 27th.
I'll entertain a motion, Madam Willis.
Yes. So I want to approve both Z21-003 and also Z21-004 and ZV21-005, and I with the following conditions that I am about to read. First, I want to motion that we amend the future land use map from Yates Road, parcel 130034 LL00897 from suburban neighborhood to regional live work. I want to move that we approve the rezoning from NUP to mixed use. Also, with the condition of no warehouse development. I also want to move that we approve the concurrent variance. CV, well, I already moved that. I'm sorry. I also want to move that we amend the parking requirement from 196 parking spaces down to 174 parking spaces. I also want to reduce the required landscape strip from 20 feet to 10 feet. I also want to move that we require north side yard 25 feet to 15 feet. I also want to allow a 10-foot improvement setback. And then I also want to put in a zoning condition that each unit shall be at least a resident of 55 years of age be in each unit. And that was my last request. Those are my, thank you.
Second, Ms. Rao?
Yes.
Okay, it's properly moved to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please.
Okay, that was, did you want me to repeat all of those? I think I had all of them except the first one,
Let's make
Mayor
sure
Pro Tem.
everything's in the record.
Yeah, so I'll read what I have to change from NUP to mixed use, requirement no warehouse development, to change the landscape strip from 20 feet to 10 feet, to amend the parking requirement down to 174, to include a 10-foot setback, to reduce the north side yard setback from 25 feet to 10 feet, and that each unit at least have residents 55 years of age.
That is correct. And I will also send these over to you, Clerk Adams, so that you can make sure you have this recorded in the record.
Okay, let's vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item was approved
Next
as
item.
amended.
Next item, please.
Next item is item 14, Z21-006 and CV21-007. Council to consider a rezoning with concurrent variance at 0 Oakley Road for the purpose of constructing a townhouse community. This is located in District 7.
Okay, Dr. Baker.
Yes. Yes, I'd like to make a motion to deny this.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please.
Roll call vote to deny. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That denial is approved.
Next item.
Next item is item 15, Z21-009. It's council to consider a rezoning at 7445 Old National Highway for the purpose of constructing a mixed-use townhome and retail development. This is located in District 7.
Dr. Baker, I entertain a motion.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to defer this to the next council meeting, please.
So move.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please, Mr. Clerk.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
and Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item was deferred to the next meeting.
Next item, please.
Next item is the consent agenda. That is the consent agenda includes items 16, 17, removing item 4 and 5 from 17, and then 18 through
34.
34.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move that we present, accept the consent agenda with the changes.
Second.
Properly moved to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid, Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved as amended.
Next item.
Next item is item 35, previous agenda items. Request council approval of an ordinance declaring a state of emergency in the city of South Fulton, providing for city meetings to be held virtually, providing for an effective date and for other purposes. This is sponsored by Mayor Edwards.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve this measure.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved.
Next item, please.
Next item is item 36. This is a second reading and request council approval of an ordinance to require a cloth face covering or mask to be worn in the city of South Fulton while indoors to help combat the spread of COVID-19 and for other purposes. This is sponsored by Mayor Edwards.
I'll entertain a motion if needed.
I move that we approve this measure.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes, I have discussion. I'll raise my hand if
I'm
possible.
sorry. Go right ahead. Ms. Wilson.
I have a question. So I encountered, when people are indoors, we're requiring to wear masks. Is that true?
That's true.
So when people are using our indoor courts, indoor basketball courts, is there an exception for them not to wear a mask?
If they playing ball, Ms. Willis, this doesn't cover everything. When they're playing ball, I think it should be in a recreational area.
I totally agree. There was a question about that posed to the park director, and we attempted to call Attorney Hyman, but I couldn't get in touch with him. But I need this clarified because I think that if someone is indoors, they should be required, whether they're using a basketball court, using the gym. If they're indoors, they're more susceptible to spreading the virus. And I'm sorry, I just no exceptions should be considered.
Let me just say this. I just think that if you're playing ball, a basketball, you're on the court, you probably wouldn't. But if you're on the bench or if you're coaching or something like they do in the NBA, I think that's fitting.
Okay. All right. So you're saying if they're in our gym, for example, at Welcome Auburn, at a Sandtown, or even, I don't know.
If they're not actively engaged in the game during that time, if it's organized, you'd be sitting on the bench with a mask, or if you're not, when you come off the floor, you should have your mask on.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Ms. Hyman, am I saying that right?
Our current ordinance doesn't make a distinction. It just says that if you're indoors, you wear a mask. But I think that the park director can build that into his policies as to the interpretation within our ordinance.
I would ask that, and I think that's a good example, Ms. Willis, and I would ask that the park director do that. Any other? Hearing no more discussion?
I have discussion. I'm sorry. Are we using the queue today?
Well, you just popped up. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I was just checking. I wanted to ask, do we have any signage up in our parks or in our buildings that say like we won't be responsible for COVID transmission or some
Yes.
sort of release like that?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Okay. Now comes Dr. Rao.
Question for Attorney Hyman. I know you're indicating that our park director should have the discretion to develop its policies around this, but I think I'm going to tend to agree with Councilwoman Willis. You're actually more in someone's face playing a game, and I would think would be at greater risk potentially. I will say I do have some reservations about the exemption, and I know it's hot and it's not comfortable, but if our intent is to prevent the spread of the virus, I don't see how this exemption helps.
And Mayor, I actually don't want to vote no for this ordinance, but I will vote no against this ordinance because I feel like if you're indoors, you need to have on a mask.
I mean, I would just commenting on what you said. If it's the will of the body that we have a mask on, that's the will of the body. Okay. We haven't made it. The ordinance is what it is.
Right now, it requires people to wear masks indoors. The enforcement aspect is what I think we were discussing as to whether or not the park director, in his discretion, would carve out some policies as it relates to when they would have them on. But right now, as is, the ordinance just says when you're indoors, wear a mask. So we really talked about the exception versus what the ordinance states.
Well, let's vote on what the ordinance says, ladies, and then go from there.
Well, can I add a comment to that? Because if that is the case, that I think that the ordinance is read that you wear the mask until you're to conduct such an activity that requires you to remove the mask,
right,
such as eating,
right,
such as playing basketball, such as et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I don't agree with removing the mask if you're indoors playing sports. And I think that's what Councilmember Rao is in consensus with me on, Corey. So
the motion is to prove the ordinance the way it is, which means that you would have to wear a mask indoors.
okay.
So can we
I have a second question actually.
go ahead.
What is, because an enforcement mechanism was mentioned, what is the enforcement mechanism? Would they just be ejected from the gym? I mean, we're not arresting anybody for.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. All right. Let's vote, please.
Motion to approve. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Abstain.
And your reason?
My reasons are the same legal reasons as I prefaced last council meeting regarding it not being a requirement of N95 mask or KN95 masks that are the only masks that are said to stop the spread of COVID, as well as our new gray area of discretion, whether you're eating or being active in sports. It's just hard to enforce.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. Go ahead.
That motion was approved.
Next item, please.
Next item is item 37. It's the third reading and request council approval of the 2021 millage rate ordinance.
You are, Ms. Willis.
Yes, I motion that we approve this measure.
Second.
I'm sorry, I need to say for the record, the approval is based upon the fixed millage rate of 12.899 mils.
That's correct.
I move that we approve this measure of the millage rate, fixed millage rate of 12.899 mil.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion?
I have discussion.
Go ahead, Mr. Khalid.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get in the queue earlier when Ms. Bembry was making her final presentation, but I did want to ask. Last year, when we were going through this, we got this information from Fulton County about planes at Charlie Brown Airport, and there was some confusion about our tax digest and where those would or would not lie on our tax digest. Are you familiar with that issue, Ms. Bembry? Has that been resolved?
No, I'm not familiar with that issue.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Clerk, where are we?
We have a motion and a second for approval.
Let's vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Ryle,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Same.
abstained. Okay.
Now, you want to state your reason, Mr. Cleed?
I had questions about the planes that were erroneously included in the tax digest previously.
Okay. Next, go on, Mr. Clerk.
And then next is Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Okay.
That item was approved.
Okay, next item, please.
Next item is item 38. This is a second reading and request council approval of an ordinance to amend Title III, Building Regulations, Chapter 3, Miscellaneous Provisions of the Code of Ordinances, City of South Fulton, Georgia, to provide for a requirement for inspections of multifamily rental housing. This is sponsored by Councilmember Rao.
I move that we approve the requirement for inspection of multifamily rental housing.
So move.
Properly moved and second. Discussion. Hearing none, seeing none in the queue. Let's vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
and Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved.
Next item, please, Mr. Clerk.
Next item is item 39, second reading and request council approval of an ordinance to amend Title I, Administration, Chapter 3, Mayor and Council, Sections 13008 and 13009, designated as reserved under the City of South Fulton Code of Ordinances to provide for a plan of defense for officers and employees, payment of claims and judgments, and the selection of outside counsel. This is sponsored by Councilmember Rao and was held at the July 27th meeting.
Dr. Rao.
I move that we approve the plan of defense for officers and employees, payment of claims and judgments, and the selection of outside counsel.
So move.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Discussion. Hearing none, let's vote, please.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
No.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved.
Next item, please.
Next item is regular agenda items. Item number 40, request for council approval of a special use permit for a concert at Wolf Creek Amphitheater on Saturday, August 28th, 2021, and Sunday, August 29th, 2021.
I'd like to make a
CDRA
motion.
and police.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
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 You were close.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get off. I was trying to get off mute.
Yeah, because properly moved and second. Discussion, please.
Will we have discussion, in the executive session regarding, the logistics?
Yes, Mayor, I agree with Councilmember Gums, if you don't mind. And I know you didn't recognize this, Kent. Most of our questions are executive session related.
Why are you voting on it then?
Right.
So can we hold it until, we have
I
executive
would
session?
suggest that. I would suggest that you withdraw that motion and hold it until we have some executive session conversation.
Well, I believe that the thing is, if we're going to approve it with some type of conditions, it's not regarding real estate, it's regarding the permit. So we can't have that conversation in the executive session. We could only approve it here.
No, some of the questions are regarding legal, Councilmember Baker.
It is.
It has nothing to do with real estate. Well, it may a little bit real estate, but most of it is legal.
There will be an executive session, real estate or legal concerning the Wolf Creek Amphitheater itself. So it would be my suggestion, let us go through that.
And we're talking about the event to be held this weekend.
It could be
and Sunday, Saturday or Sunday.
Dr. Baker, to the event that's held this weekend.
I would like to make a substitute motion that we hold this measure until after the executive session discussion.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please.
Roll call vote to hold this item until after executive session.
Yes.
Councilmember Rao, Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves, Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
I have no choice.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That item is held.
Next item, please.
Next item is item 41. Request council approval of a resolution authorizing the creation of a task force committee to review and research potential city street names associated with the Confederacy and recommend any renaming of the streets to city council and for other purposes. This is sponsored by Councilmember Gums.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes. I have been approached by several members of the community, and this has been probably about a few years now, about changing some of the names of the streets that represent Confederacy here in our city. And of course, you know, some of these streets we do share in common with other council members in the area. So it was my desire to pull together a task force where we can all kind of have input from our residents, and they will work in sync with our historic preservation committee to bring back some recommendations in regards to the research that is done. So I'm asking for the council's support. And if it is approved today, then we will go through the process of making sure that we have a representative from each district to participate on the task force.
And so, Mayor, this is a co-sponsored measure, and it was not mentioned. This is Councilmember Gums and Mayor Pro Tem Willis. And if possible, I would like to vote on both of these measures, 44 and 45. It's doing the same thing, except 45 is not only, it's talking about the facilities and the infrastructures in our city. So we want the task force to work in tandem, not only do the research and bring back recommendations for the streets in our city, but also bring back recommendations for the some of the facilities and the infrastructures in our city.
Let me
I don't think
lost me.
Yeah.
You said
Councilwoman Willis, that necessarily wasn't agreed upon.
It's separate measures. We can vote on it separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
But 44 is co-sponsored. So
We can have you added as a co-sponsor. Yes, ma'am.
It's on the agenda.
All right. Any more discussion? We're gonna just do them individually. Any more discussion?
I had a question for clarity. Ms. Gums, is this just for streets that have a Confederacy?
Or have any, I guess, racial or connotation to it? Again, I was just approached about the street renaming, not anything of buildings or anything of that nature. So that's the reason why this measure is being put forth as far as for streets.
Right. So it doesn't necessarily have to be associated with the Confederacy. It could just be any street that can be renamed.
Well,
In the city boundaries that we have the.
No, I'm focusing more on the Confederacy or any cases, connotations associated with the street names.
So
Okay, I understood. So I pretty much get what you're saying for yours. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All
Mayor,
right.
Matt, I'll wait till discussion and I'll speak. I want to second this and then I have a discussion.
Okay. Who made the motion, Mr. Clerk?
Councilmember Gums.
Councilmember John made the motion, seconded by Pro Tem Willis. Discussion.
So majority of our streets, I mean,
Man, I'm in the queue. Just notice
Me
my.
too.
Okay, Mr. Baker, I got you.
I just want to clarify, majority of our streets in the city are named after people who once lived here, and they trace back to many of our graveyards. Many of the descendants are buried in our graveyards, and if you go walk through the graveyards throughout our city, you will see their last names on the gravestones named after our streets. The graves go back to the 1800s, and so that is during the Confederacy era. And so not this ordinance, this resolution is not necessarily telling the task force to come back and recommend a name. It's just telling them to do the research, bring back forth to this council a recommendation to change the street if they find out, for any reason it has a racial or Confederacy historical presence. And then we will have to decide with the community and the council the appropriate names for the streets. So they would not be bringing us names of these streets. They just will make a recommendation saying, look, this has, for example, Scarborough Road has a, and I'm just saying this hypothetically, has a Confederacy historical significance, and we recommend that this street be changed due to that.
I think you're right, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem. Okay, Dr. Baker, come on.
Yes, thanks. I just wanted to first, I just have to say it just because it was just said prior to. I will hope that these task force members do exactly what you said, but then make decisions based off of historical facts.
Right.
What do I mean when I say historical facts? I mean, if someone is dead and they were wrong, then they're just dead wrong. And we make the corrections and move forward. I also would like to ask, would you guys consider adding bridges to this as well in our city, as we have so many of them?
So
Mayor, that's the second one.
Okay, that was Ms. Gomes. Did you want to add bridges to your?
Mayor,
So,
we were trying to stop you. That's on the second item.
On the second item.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Thank you, Mayor.
But Mr. Baker, just to just add a little bit more clarity. Again, we will have them working in the task force with the Historic Preservation Committee as well. So the information will be vetted properly.
All right. Thank all of you, Mr. Baker, Mr. Adams. Let's do a roll call.
Roll call vote to approve. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gomes.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid.
Sorry, yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved.
Okay. Next item, please. Just kind of associated with that one, but go ahead.
Yes.
Next item.
Hold on, Mr. Willis. Go ahead.
Next item is item 42. Request council approval of a resolution establishing a committee for the purpose of naming and renaming of public facilities or infrastructure and for other purpose. This is sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
And so to me, it really didn't make sense to separate this out because I don't even see the reason for creating a separate committee. We're going to use the same committee. I recommend we use the same committee that we're using the item number 44. This measure is for the committee to research the namings of our infrastructures, and that will include like your bridges, the buildings in our city. We have buildings like Cliftondale. Where is Cliftondale? Who is Cliftondale? We're asking them to do that research and bring forth that information back to this council so that we would know the historical significance of the buildings and the infrastructures named in our city.
Okay. Is there did I get a motion, Mr. Clerk?
I move that we approve this measure.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? Ms. Khalid, is that you? Did I see it in the queue?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask Councilwoman Gomes if she would explain why she thought a separate committee was necessary.
Well, originally, because again, I wasn't interested in researching the streets the buildings or facilities. I was approached by residents that were interested in the renaming of streets. So that was where my focus was. And Councilwoman Willis also had a resolution that spoke to buildings and facilities, and I think it was brought forth previously. But my focus is on the streets, not the renaming of the buildings.
Okay, is there any, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Rao, I see you. Did you get your opportunity, Dr. Rao?
No, I would like to speak.
All right.
So as we contemplate particularly our public facilities, I think about our recreational facilities, I guess I want clarification. While there may be the opportunity for naming opportunities for our parks and recreational facilities, for example, how would that interplay with the work of this committee? I wouldn't want us to lose that opportunity. Many cities take advantage of that, and it's something that I would hope we would explore.
So, Mayor, do you mind if I respond to Councilmember Rao?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So again, the purpose of this is for them to do the research on what our infrastructures and what our building names, the significance, the historical significance. They will bring that information back to us. They will not be recommending that we name, for example, Welcome All Park, such and such, such. All they're doing, all this committee is doing is working in tandem with the Historical Preservation Committee, getting the historical significance of the names of our infrastructures, our buildings, along with the streets. Both are important to me. And then they will bring that information back. And then we, as this council, will work with our communities and decide how we need to move forward with that information.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay.
Right.
Do we have a motion, Mr. Adams?
Yes, sir. You have a motion and a second.
Okay, let's vote, please.
It's roll call vote to approve. Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gomes,
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is approved.
Next item, please, sir.
Next item is item 43. This is for first reading only of an ordinance establishing a code of ethics and for other lawful purposes. I would like to say that Councilmember Reeves is the sponsor. The entire council was asked to sponsor this, but at least one council member indicated they could not sponsor it. So Councilmember Reeves is the lead sponsor.
Okay, Councilmember Reed, go right ahead.
Yes, and I just wanted to, reason why I wanted to sponsor this bill is in order to maintain full faith, confidence of the public trust, we must be accounted for, and we must do that with transparency and accountability at all times for our. And that is why this code of ethics is important.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Khalid.
I just want to say that I object on principle to the fact that we would even have to establish a new code of ethics. I will say that I and many others on this council and in other places have objected to the General Assembly's interference into municipal affairs. I find it doubly offensive that the interference into our city affairs has come from our own state representatives. And I don't think that it's even constitutional that they could abolish our code of ethics, our board of ethics, which was modeled after the Georgia Municipal Association's model ethics ordinance, any more than it was constitutional for them to try and get rid of our city attorney. I believe that both of those things violate Article 1 of the state constitution of Georgia, and that by passing this, we are co-signing an action that wasn't legal to begin with. So I just wanted to explain why I will be voting no today.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
don't
Khalid.
believe in ethics. I just don't believe in the intrusion of our state representatives. If they want to be city council members, they should put their name on the ballot and run for office here.
Thank you, Mr. Khalid. Councilwoman Gums.
Oh, I was just trying to get clarification that this is the new code of ethics that was, I guess, with the change in our charter. And I think Councilman Khalid answered that question, so I apologize.
Okay, thank you so much. Any further comments? I see Ms. Willis.
Yeah, so the code of ethics kind of conflicts with the code of ethics conflicts with the change in the charter to prohibit council members from removing council members. So the charter says that's prohibited. I mean, we're supposed to follow a certain process, but then the code of ethics still puts it back in there. So we really actually need a charter change to correct. And when I talked to the author of the legislation, they did not realize that they had done that. And so this code of ethics, it really needs to be a charter change. And I would get with Attorney Hyman and Councilmember Reeves so that we could get this corrected correctly, and so that we can move forward. I do think that public trust is important, and we do need to have a measure put in place for not only constituents to large complaints if they feel like it needs to be addressed, but also our colleagues. So, but we want to be fair about the process, and we don't want to infringe on the rights of voters. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Rao, we'll hear from you and move on.
Just for clarification, since this is a ordinance that we're adopting, and Councilwoman Willis noted the conflict that for removal of office, we should follow the state law as noted in the charter. Can't we just strike it from this before we take a vote?
Mayor, do you mind if I respond to
directing that to the attorney?
Yes, it is.
Dr. Rao.
Yes, it's for the attorney.
Okay.
The ordinance can be modified to reflect the will of the board, will of the council.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
So attorney, can you, excuse me, Attorney Hyman, can you tell us how we amend that particular, where we need to strike it so it's not conflicting with the charter?
What I would recommend is just for there to be a motion to amend those portions of the charter that the council deems in conflict, and we'll do accordingly.
Okay.
All right.
So I move that we approve the ordinance striking the language that conflicts with the charter.
Councilmember Rao, this is first read only today.
Oh, so we don't have to do anything. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said I would get
with Hyman later on, and as we come back and include that.
Yeah, that's why I said I would get with Councilmember Reed and Councilmember Hyman.
Good.
I mean,
Attorney Hyman. Okay, got
Attorney
it.
Hyman.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next item is item 44. This is a first reading of an ordinance to amend Title V, Zoning and Planning, Chapter 2, Subdivision Regulations and Appendix C, Zoning, Article 8, Procedures and Permits, Section 807, Certificate Occupancy of the Code of Ordinances, City of South Fulton, Georgia, to regulate the leasing or rental of newly developed single-family residential homes. This is sponsored by Councilmember Rao.
Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao.
Yes, it's the first read, right?
That's first read. If no comments, we can go right ahead.
No, I think we'll deal with this at the next meeting.
All right. Next item.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, the next three items actually pertain to the eminent domain proceedings regarding Danforth Road. According to the city attorney, we cannot conduct a public hearing or act on these items until 6 p.m.
Okay. Did we cover items taken off the consent agenda yet?
No, sir.
Okay.
We have two items from the consent agenda.
Let's cover those.
Okay, the next item, these are items removed from the consent agenda. Item 17, request council confirmation of the following recorded development plats as approved by the city engineer pursuant to section 4.22E of the subdivision regulations, appendix D. Item 4 is confirm the recorded plat for Captain D's on Old National Highway located in District 7. And then item 5 is confirm the recorded plat for South Fulton Commerce Center in District 5.
I do recall Mr. Reeves.
Yes, I would like the number 4 for the plat for Captain D to be pulled, corrected in the plat and D plat, and brought back forth to the next council meeting under the consent agenda.
What items do you want?
Second.
With those corrected.
What items are you correcting?
Number 4, sir. The plat for Captain D's.
Okay, but you say those items that on that plat, which one?
I'm sorry, sir. The item.
Okay, all right. Is that your motion?
Second.
Yes.
The properly moved to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, please.
There's a motion to hold item number 4. Some motion is second by Councilmember Reeves, second by Councilmember Baker. Roll call vote, Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That item is held.
Okay, next item, please, Mr. Clerk.
The next item is item 5, confirm the recorded plat for South Fulton Commerce Center located in District 5.
Councilman Reeves again.
Yes, okay. I would like this is to be for discussion because Mr. Attorney, can you opine at this point in the stage of this process, this development will occur because the plat is recorded and this is procedural just for us to approve it, correct?
Councilman Reeves, the plat, once it's recorded at Fulton County, is an official recorded plat document, and the city is just receiving a copy of that because copies of plat are allowed to be distributed according to state law. As to any structures being built, permitting, I don't know what stage the process is in, but that would come before the council.
Right.
If it's already properly zoned, then you'll be dealing with LDPs, other permits that the permit department of CRA would deal with if it's not properly zoned, and then the zoning would come before the council.
Okay. So I would like to, for the edification of the public, this question is for Madam Director Reed. Can you explain this partial zoning and how do we come to this portion of the process?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Justine.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Reed.
Yeah, so the way that the process works for platting, once the zoning is put in place and the developer comes in and sets the actual standards for what has been adopted by council for platting and put into place as far as on the site plan itself, the engineer reviews it to confirm that it's meeting such standards. Once he's confirmed that it's meeting those standards, he approves it, and then it goes over to Fulton County for recording. Then it comes back to council just to be put on public record that it's been submitted back to the city for record. So we're at that point now where it's gone through all its official approvals. It's just needing to be put on record as receipt to the city at this time.
So what was the current zoning before the property was conveyed over to the new owner?
So I will let the engineer speak on that one because I believe he has the record in front of him.
Mr. Glover, could you go opine on that?
Yes, council member. This specifically, I don't have the specific zoning, but can I take a moment and just kind of walk you through the process, just so you and the other council members can just know the process that we go through in getting these plats before you. The reason why we bring these plats to you at this time, it relates back to our subdivision ordinance, which says paragraph 4.2.2 says that the actual approval of the plat is done by CDRA. The director has the authority to actually approve the plat, and she generally will designate that authority to the city engineer. So we approve the plat, and this is by our code. And then that plat has to be recorded by Fulton County, and then the city council confirms the plat. And so I understand it may appear to you that this is kind of on the back end, but if we were to really walk through the entire process from the beginning, when a project first comes to us, assuming that it is not properly zoned, a zoning hearing has to come before you, and then you would have to approve that zoning. At that time, you can place conditions on those zonings. And when the plan starts to come, long before the plat, we get an LDP, long before we get a plat, we have to review your zoning conditions at that first stage to make sure that that plan fully complies with all the zoning conditions, with the zoning case as created by city council, as well as the zoning conditions based on the zoning condition of that particular development. We do that at the LDP stage. When the LDP has been approved, our staff, we have inspectors who are out at site constantly. I mean, they don't sit on the site, they're going from site to site, but they're monitoring the construction, particularly the elements that are to be dedicated, like, for example, the streets, the roads. We actually monitor the roadways being developed, so we know that they're developed based off our city codes and policies. We've got the adequate amount of aggregate, we've got the correct amount of asphalt, so on and so forth. So we're actually monitoring their construction. Once they get the infrastructure, so no buildings, but the streets are in, the roads are in, the utilities are in, all of those things are in, then the plat process begins. And what the plat literally documents the infrastructure. So for example, the City of Atlanta Water Authority has to sign off on the plat. That indicates that the city has seen the project, they know what's being built, and that their water infrastructure is sufficient for that development. Fulton County Sewer has to sign off on the plat, which again indicates that their sewer capacity is adequate for that project. The Fulton County Sewer Department has to sign off on it, particularly if it has a septic tank, just again indicates that they can handle that. Once we've monitored, let me back up. At the beginning, we understood the zoning condition. We made sure that the LDP was consistent and compliant with the zoning condition. We read your zoning case that City Council approved. We made sure that we were compliant with the zoning case. We did the engineering to make sure that the area was properly graded. There'd be no erosion, no other issues. We monitored the construction. We made sure that the roads were built according to our standards. City of Atlanta has chimed in, Fulton County has chimed in. At that time, we do the plat. The plat goes through.
Can I pause right there? You said that the zoning was approved to allow this to happen?
Yeah, the zoning would have had to have been approved. Now that, I mean, I'd have to go back. I'm sorry, sir.
Because I'm mentally, I can't figure out when that took place, and I could not find that in any zoning cases as long as I was here in service. So I would like to please explain when that zoning was in place as for the edification of the public, so they will be fully aware.
Yes, I want to chime in on that. I was actually taking a second to check the record. So yes, the property was zoned C1. C1 right out allows for a fast food restaurant at that location. So they're only making this request officially to start the construction.
Correct.
Excuse me, you said for a fast food, we're talking about the South Fulton Commerce Center.
You talking about, yeah.
Yeah, it's his commerce center.
I'm sorry, I thought we were on the Captain D's location.
No. And for the edification of the public, the South Fulton Commerce Center, purchased by strategic partners from Henderson's Arena, which is they're constructing a Class A distribution center, i.e. a warehouse, i.e. E-commerce fulfillment center. Whichever things you want to say, but this is what we're on for Stacks Road development.
Got it. I apologize for misunderstanding that. Eric, do you have anything on that for that site in regards to the zoning for it?
I don't have the actual zoning. I'll need to research that and get back to you. So I need to research that, sir, and I'll be glad to get that back to you tomorrow.
So is your motion to hold, Mr. Reeves?
If I can hold it, if I can prevent it from happening, that'll be great. But I don't know if we're there at that point.
You have a lot of questions that they're not prepared to answer. I would suggest to hold.
Yes, sir. I will take your suggestion and I will hold this and for them to come back to the appropriate answers for the questions, which I will be happy to present in writing format so they can be authoritative, written back in the answers that are to receive.
Okay.
Second.
Process.
Second.
Probably moved by Mr. Reeves and second by Dr. Rao. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote.
Roll call vote to hold. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid. Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
This item is held. Would you like this held to the next meeting as well?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves?
Yes.
All right.
As long as no activity is taking place during that time.
Yes. Can't do that.
Absolutely.
The next meeting, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir. So noted.
Okay, go. Next item.
That completes the items on the active agenda, except for the last three Danforth Road condemnation items.
The last
We'll go into executive session.
I suggest we do a couple of things. If you want, this is my suggestion. We can take a break here and come back at 6 o'clock and deal with Danforth Road, and then go to executive session, whatever your privilege is, whatever you want to do.
Make
I'd
a
like
motion
to
to
make
take
a
a
motion
20-minute
for
break.
executive session.
Yeah. I was gonna ask for executive session during this time.
Okay.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Roll call vote to go into executive session. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid.
Or do we not need to say what we are going into executive session for?
I thought someone said it, Mr. Khalid, earlier. Well, we can.
Personnel, real estate, and litigation.
Yeah, I thought I heard that earlier, but go ahead.
I will say no if we're including personnel.
Okay.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
We are recessing for executive session at 5:38 p.m. and look for the link.
All right. So everybody back in, Ms. Clerk?
Hello.
All right. Is everybody
Yes,
back?
everyone is back in the live session.
I would like to entertain a motion to reconvene.
I'd like to make a motion to reconvene.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Let's vote.
Roll call vote to reconvene. Councilmember Rao.
Yes.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis. Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
That motion is approved. We are reconvened at 6:07 p.m.
All right. We don't need a motion for executive session, but we're going back, right?
Yes, would you like me to sound item 45, the public hearing?
Absolutely.
Item 45, public hearing. This is a public hearing with regarding resolutions approving the exercise of eminent domain at the following parcels on Danforth Road. Parcels ID 14F0028 LL0244 and 14F0028 LL0210 for the purpose of completing the Danforth Road Sidewalk Project T-260.
I'll entertain a motion.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we need to open up the public hearing and
I'm
close.
sorry, it is a public hearing. You're right. Staff going to say something on this?
Yes, Mr. Hyman.
I believe Public Works can start out, and then if they need any additional information, I can provide that.
Okay, staff, go right ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. The reason of the public hearing is with regards to the Danforth Road sidewalks for parcels 19 and 21. Our attorney has been briefed, and Public Works has followed all the proper procedures before getting to this date.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Mayor and Council, we did not receive any comments in support or in opposition to this condemnation request.
I'll close public hearing. Is this an action item?
Yes, I'll go ahead and sound item 46. The first one is request council approval of a resolution to authorize the use of eminent domain to acquire real property interests necessary to complete the Danforth Road Sidewalk Project T-260, parcel 19, to authorize the city of South Fulton, Georgia to condemn said property interests where necessary and for other lawful purposes.
I move that we approve the use of eminent domain to support the construction of the Danforth sidewalks as outlined in the resolution.
Properly moved to second. Any further discussion? Do I see, this may be, I may not have cleared this out, but Willis and Khalid, that y'all are in the queue? I may not have cleared you out. Okay. All right, let's vote.
Roll call vote to approve. Councilmember Rao.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Gums.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis. Councilmember Reeves.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid. Councilmember Khalid.
Next item.
That item was approved.
Next item.
Next item is request council approval of a resolution to authorize the use of eminent domain to acquire real property interests necessary to complete the Danforth Road Sidewalk Project T-260 parcel 21, to authorize the city of South Fulton, Georgia to condemn said property interests where necessary and for other lawful purposes.
Staff, you have anything?
No, Mr. Mayor, the procedures are the same. We follow all protocols.
All right, I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, there was only one public hearing under 45. It was for both of them.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes.
So did we vote?
Okay, I'll carry the vote for you. It's a vote to, you need a motion for this one?
Let's vote, please.
You need a motion for item 47?
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead.
Wow. Okay. Hold on, it's spinning. I would like to approve the authorization of eminent domain to acquire real property interest necessary to complete the Danforth Road Sidewalk Project T-260 parcel 21.
I heard a second from Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Properly moved to second. In discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk, let's vote.
Councilmember Rao?
Yes.
Councilmember Gums?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis? Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Record Willis, saying yes.
Okay, that is approved.
Next item.
That completes the items on the agenda.
Okay.
I move we go back to executive session to continue.
Second.
This executive session is already. Do we need a motion for that, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, because you did
Reconvene.
vote to reconvene, so you need to vote to go back in.
Yes.
Discussion. Hearing none.
Yes, I would like to add the items of personnel, real estate, and litigation.
Okay. All right. Let's vote, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid, Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
We are recessed for executive session 2 at 6:14 p.m.
Recording in progress.
Mr. Mayor, we are back in live session.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to reconvene.
Second.
Been motion and second to reconvene. Any discussion? Hearing none. Let's vote.
Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
We are reconvened at 6:50 p.m.
There was an action that we wanted to bring up front for a vote, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, I move that we approve the Wolf Creek Amphitheater permit for Fulton County contingent upon them turning over Wolf Creek Amphitheater to the city by September 30th. And we need that agreement in writing.
Second.
The properly moved to second. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Go ahead.
I would like to make a substitute motion to include in that contingency the $5 million that the county has committed to in their July IGA for the Old National and Enon Road sidewalks and the resurfacing of Fulton Industrial Boulevard.
You accept that motion? I think it's in order, Miss Willis.
I do not.
There's a second.
That's not what the council agreed upon.
Excuse me. Secondly,
Okay, I'm sorry.
do we have a second on our first motion, Mr. Clerk?
We have a second on the first motion. I haven't gotten a
second on the second motion.
I haven't gotten a second yet.
Do we have a second on Mr. Khalid?
Councilmember Reeves.
Second.
Second.
Okay, let's take Mr. Khalid's motion first. All right. It's been properly moved to second. Any further discussion? Let's vote, Mr. Clerk.
It's a substitute motion by Councilmember Khalid, second by Councilmember Reeves. Councilmember Rao.
Abstain.
I'm sorry. Read the motion so it's clear to the record.
Yes, this is a substitute motion to include the contingency that the Wolf Creek Amphitheater be turned over by September 30th, as long as it's in writing, as well as $5 million for the Old National Indian Road sidewalks and the resurfacing of Fulton Industrial Boulevard.
Okay, what's your rationale, Ms. Rao? Dr. Rao used to think. What's your conflict?
The issue is these matters should have been dealt with as we discussed them before when I wanted to go through every item.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Clerk.
Councilmember Gums.
This is not what we discussed.
Right.
I'm sorry.
It's not what we discussed back in executive session. So I do support the Enon Road sidewalks, but this is not what we discussed. So it's taken away some My answer is no at this time.
Okay,
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
My answer is no, because this is not what we agreed to and discussed.
okay,
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid,
My answer is yes, because sidewalks are more important than an amphitheater.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
that item does not receive 4 affirmative votes.
okay. Let's vote on the original motion.
Original motion by Councilmember Willis, seconded by Councilmember Gums to approve the permit for the Wolf Creek concerts for Saturday, the 27th, the 28th, and August 29th, contingent upon the county providing in writing the turnover of the Wolf Creek Amphitheater by September 30th. Roll call vote, Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes, and the Enid Road sidewalks are included in this contract for turning for September 30th, just for clarification.
Huh?
I don't think that was in the motion.
No,
That
it
was
was
not in the
not.
motion.
No, I was just saying, well, maybe I was doing too much, but giving the public a point of order for clarity.
Just vote yes or no. So.
I did, I voted yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Nay.
Councilmember Khalid,
I abstain
Why? Sure,
about so important.
Councilmember Baker,
Mr. Baker,
Aye.
that item was approved. 4-1-1.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Move to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Let's vote, please.
Councilmember Rao,
Yes.
Councilmember Gums,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis,
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves,
Aye.
Councilmember Khalid, Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:55 PM. Thank you. Have a good evening.